shining through the African continent. AAU, voice of higher education, revitalizing education in Africa. Human resources are greatest masters, transforming Africa's education. We espouse with virtues and mass function. We research with joy, unity and truth. We facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education. AAU, the heart of excellence, shaping Africa's educational thought. AAU, swing our talents, web of motion, amazing grace of poverty, innovation, upholding community, equity, and standards, transforming Africa's education. We espouse with virtues and mass function. We research with joy, unity and truth. We facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education. AAU, the pillar of higher learning, spearheading Africa's development. AAU, born of friendship, power, fellowship, partnership for higher education. Africa's intellectual advancement are focused to achieve the freedom we want. We espouse with virtues and mass function. We research with joy, unity and truth. We facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education.
Oh, welcome once again to day 3 of the African Universities Day. My name is Ajimon Ochudako. I'm going to be your MC for today. And I wouldn't want to mince words. I earlier welcomed you all and gave you an overview of what today was going to be like. Today, we're looking at a high-level panel discussion that is offering us all case studies of artificial intelligence implementation by African higher education institutions with continental perspectives from 5 African higher education institutions on their adoption of AI. So, I mean, we're all going to eat and pray the AI language over here more often. And if you have any views, you can put them to the chat box and we can have them addressed. My speakers are ready. And the very first person I'm going to call upon to give us the welcome address is none other than our very own Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, Professor Olushola Bandele Oyewole. Prof is also part of the high-level discussion, and he would give us his welcoming address. I'm going to introduce him in detail later on before the high-level discussion starts. So if Prof can hear me, Prof, you can come in with your welcoming address.
Prof is just preparing himself. Maybe you can introduce him while he prepares to join.
Oh, okay, so it's an honor to introduce Professor Olewole. I want to read about him slightly as for us all to know who he is. I would be glad if Madam Rodimo Lamini can help me share her screen so we can see his profile so I can read it to you.
Okay, Achiman, let me just share. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Ajemang, you are muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Beginning today on our high-level panel discussion on AI case studies from African higher education institutions is our very own Professor Olushola Bandelo-Oyewole. He is currently the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities. He was the former Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta in Nigeria. He is a professor of food science and technology. He was the former president of the AAU and also former staff of the AAU and the African Union Commission. Professor Oyewole has published several scholarly and peer-reviewed journals, articles, books, chapters, books, conference, and technical papers. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Master of Science degree from the University of Ibadan, and a doctorate degree in food science and technology also from the University of Ibadan. If Prof is not ready, I would want to go on and read the profiles of the others, of our other speakers. Permission.
Have been established in Ghana, Nigeria, the Republic of Djibouti.
I think Prof has joined.
To address the issue.
Hello, Prof. Good morning.
ICT sector to contribute their quota to Africa's development. An IDA this program.
So, no,
sorry,
somebody must have his mic opened. There's a mic open somewhere. Please, that person should mute his microphone or him.
To introduce to you our high-level discussion panelists for today, so you are well abreast who you're going to really interact with today. So then Rashid Siraj, and he is the director of Africa Initiative of Strategy in the College of Sustainable Agriculture and Environmental Sciences at the Mohammed V Polytechnic University, the CIST. Previously, he was manager of the Regional Initiative on Small-Scale Family Farming and Rural Transformation in Near East and North Africa Food and Agriculture Organization, the United Nations FAO. He was a senior project officer with the Secretariat of the Science Council of the CGIAR. He was a director of diversification and sustainable intensification of production systems at the International Center for Agricultural Research in the dry areas. He has extensive experience in research and development and has occupied several positions in various international research centers and organizations such as the IRRI, IAEA, and ICRISAT. He holds a PhD in crop science and agronomy from the Montpellier University, France, Montpellier University Science, France, from 1987. He is also an author of more than 250 publications and several books, international reports, and studies. Dr. Rashid Siraj, we can't wait to hear from you today. And our next speaker is Rachel Chikori. Rachel, Dean, Information Science and Technology at the Harare Institute of Technology, Zimbabwe. She is a passionate researcher, a reviewer, consultant, mentor, and entrepreneur. Rachel is pursuing a doctorate in computer science and data processing and holds an MTech degree in information networks from the Tshwane University of Technology, Pretoria, South Africa, and also holds a BSc degree in computer science from the Mainland State University, Zimbabwe. Rachel has supervised numerous undergraduate and postgraduate projects and mentored a lot of people in developing their business ideas using recent technologies. She believes in collaborations between academics and industry in order to solve real-life challenges and problems and to maintain the relevance of academic institutions. Finally, Rachel has written and published works in the field of computing, and her areas of interest are artificial intelligence, machine learning, software project management, Internet of Things, design and analysis of algorithms. We also can't wait to hear from you, Michelle. Our final speaker is Professor Mohamedou Lamine Ba. Professor Mohamedou is an associate professor of big data in the Department of Computer Engineering at the École Supérieure Polytechnique of the Sheikh Anta Diop University of Dakar. Previously, a lecturer in computer science at the Department of ICT of the Alioune Diop University of Bombay in Senegal. Also, Professor Mohamedou served as head of research and innovation at the UADB Open and Distance Learning Institute. He holds a PhD in computer science and networks from Telecom Paris, from Institut Mines Telecom, and founding member of Institut Polytechnique de Paris. He was a research assistant intern at A-Star in Singapore and a postdoc research assistant at Telecom Paris, and then at the QCRI in Doha, Qatar. Mohamedou Lamine Ba has been involved in several local and international research projects. We have an awesome array of speakers sourced uniquely for this event on AI, and it's an honor having you all nice people on this platform. I would want to start with our mention words, inviting the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, Professor Olushola Oyewole, to first welcome and direct.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajiman, and I want to also appreciate our Director of ICT, Communication and Knowledge Management, Madam Nodumo, for all you've done in respect of this occasion. I want to appreciate all those who are connected to the program today. This is the third day of our conversation on the issues of artificial intelligence. My assignment this morning is just to welcome the panelists from the University of Ghana, the University of Gesambelja, the St. Louis in Senegal, the University of Pretoria, and then the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic in Morocco. It's really a pleasure to learn from various specialists in Africa. Today, we are looking at case studies of artificial intelligence implementation by higher education institutions, and we look forward to learning from every one of you. You are welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Oyewole, for the very apt and succinct remarks. We would want to move on to the next item of the day, and that would be for us to hear from our speakers. And to start on that, I would have to introduce the moderator of the day. She is the Director of ICT and Knowledge Management here at the AAU, the person of Ms. Nodumo Lamini, the superwoman. Ma'am, it's your moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajiman, and also thank you, Professor Olushola Oyewole. I would like to welcome our panelists, the three panelists, Dr. Rachid Seraj from Morocco, Mrs. Rachel Chikore from Zimbabwe, and also Professor Mohamedou Lamine Ba from Sheikh Anta Diop in Senegal. What we are going to do today is slightly different from how we were handling the rest of the sessions that came before. I hope those that need French are aware that there is French translation. So you look for the world map-like symbol at the bottom and you choose French. For those that speak English, please go to the English channel so that in case someone speaks in French, you are able to hear the translation. So what we are going to do, we are going to have a conversation. There are some questions that I will pose to the panelists, and they will be responding to those questions. So we are looking at case studies of adoption of AI by selected African universities. And I think, as we all know, adoption of artificial intelligence in a university could be an intricate, multifaceted process that involves navigating a range of issues. Universities present a quite complex ecosystem because they are multifaceted organizations with a diverse range of functions, from teaching, research, administration, student services, community services, and others. So these different domains require a deep understanding of each area's unique needs and challenges when we are talking about AI adoption. So I hope my panelists have opened their microphones, but I will ask them to unmute so that they can respond as I call upon them. So the first question is, what is the current state of artificial intelligence adoption at your university? And I would call upon Dr. Rachid Seraj to come first, followed by Mrs. Rachel Chikore, and then followed by Professor Lamine Ba. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Prof.
Very clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, so good morning, everyone from sunny Marrakesh. And thank you very much to Professor Oyewole. Very happy to see you again, sir. And also to Madam Chair. So to get started on this panel, just as a quick reminder, UM6P, as you may know, the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic, is a very young university. It just started in 2017 officially. Some of you have already visited us, and so we are born somehow in the era of artificial intelligence, and that explains from the beginning. Almost we had artificial intelligence part of our vision and strategies. One particular dimension also to our university is that we are devoted most of our work in education and research not only to Morocco, but also to Africa. From the inception, the vocation of UM6P is to address the development challenges of Africa. And that is why I think from the beginning, Madam Chair, if you would allow me, I would just share with my screen to show you a quick.
Yes, please. Proceed,
slide.
Prof.
I will not talk too much, but this is it. So
it's okay, please.
Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So we started in 2017, as they explained. And from the beginning, we had artificial intelligence on our. So in 2018, that's just immediately after, we started a series of consultations on AI, various dimensions for and applications in Morocco and also for Africa. And we did that in collaboration with OCP and UNESCO. And that has led to the a forum held here in Ben Guerir. I will tell you maybe later on about it, especially on the policy dimension, because it had various recommendations on AI applications and policies across Africa. I can share that later on. That's what we call the Ben-Gurion Declaration on AI in Africa. And following on that and building on the momentum that was done with UNESCO, UM6P has initiated and launched a Center for Artificial Intelligence in Morocco, and also what we call the AI movement. So this is led by, you can see that on the picture, Professor Amal Aflah Sagrousni in Rabat. She's our leader on that, and I will show with you very quickly, because lack of time, some of our applications. So this is what the AI movement is about. It has about 7 pillars. I will not go into the details, but it has, of course, a dimension on training, because that's what we are here for. And we, for instance, we've started executive master on AI governance and practice. That's already ongoing. A second pillar on R&D, research and development, and I will show you some examples later on. Innovation is, of course, at the heart of this work of the AI movement. Technology transfer and work closely with African partners. We have a policy dimension. This is done by the Policy Center in Rabat of UM6P, and strategic studies related to AI, and then applications fields. And this is also applying both in Morocco and Africa. And I will show you some examples very quickly. And we're doing this, of course, in collaboration. We are having strategic partnerships with various institutions, including some prestigious research institutions in the US, like in Berkeley, MIT, Japan, and so on and so forth. Very quickly, I can show you examples, because for the sake of time. So the fields of application, for instance, if you take agriculture, I just picked up one example. This is a startup from UM6P, and you can, I put the address there if you want to browse and look for it. It has developed and still developing various solutions for applications of AI and sustainable agriculture. That, of course, relates to precision farming. So it's using advanced sensors, drones, technologies to collect data and also to advise farmers. And this is already in application. So we apply that, for instance, in managing soil fertility and fertilizer application, water applications, for phytosanitary advice, for instance, for receiving infection alerts and threats preventively. And these are kind of solutions for the future. We also have applications that apply to marketing of agriculture and market connections by allowing farmers to sell their products. And it has a dimension on livestock, yield production, and so on and so forth. I will not go into details, but if you want to find out more about AgriEdge, you can just click on the website. And it has also already various fields applications across Africa. A second field of application is energy. As you know, sustainable energy is a key element for sustainable development across the continent and also for Morocco. So here, I will not go into details either, but just showing you some examples and some of the projects and initiatives, for instance, on using the development of decision support tools for optimal planning of energy systems. We have the AfriGrid, which is consists in the development of technic model for microgrid with storage solutions for isolated agglomerations. We have intelligent PV, which is data intelligence tools for better operation and maintenance of photovoltaics, and so on and so forth. So again, I'm going quickly here, but just to show some examples and applications in terms of sustainable energy. We have, of course, applications in higher education. And because as it has been from the beginning of this week, actually, it's been a very good input from various speakers on AI and what it will do to change education. It's already changing higher education. So we're using AI, for instance, for reviewing the curriculum. So AI can help us extract the content from diverse sources and process all that information to be able to develop and to renew the curricula. Also, an assistance in job market aligned updates. And this is very important for our graduates for finding options. We have another application which is on dropout early warning systems. And this has been proof tested, and it's basically helping to rescue students before it's too late. So using AI-driven predictive analysis to develop solutions on early dropout. Moving on, for instance, into health, we have, this is work in progress as we speak. The technology that's being developed also here in various fields and applications for multi-parameter monitoring of mobile health systems. And this is part of the future solutions that are being applied in health, for instance, in oxygen saturation measurement or ECG, and so on and so forth. We have indeed the part of the AI, actually, the heart of the engine is also related to the field of cybersecurity and developing algorithms for detecting intrusions and so on. And this is one of the key focus areas of our research on AI. An example that I would like to highlight here is what the AI movement has initiated with African women. So this project is aiming to empower 150 African women over a 3 years period with an interest in technology and artificial intelligence in developing solutions to the African context. There is a video down there. We don't have time to look at it, but you can watch it later on, and we invite all the audience to check on this. We believe really that the part of sustainable development in the continent is in the hands of women. So gender is a key issue, and we have to keep in mind. And this is why the AI movement here at UM6P is putting the emphasis on women. And I'm just moving quickly into this, but this is a key program on developing capacity for African ladies in AI. We also apply this into project management training. So for instance, in project management book of standards, developing training materials, AI assessments, and also for decision support systems related to the training programs. And we have there some examples, for instance, in Mali and other countries right now that in terms of collaboration. Finally, we are developing solutions with startups. As you may know, UM6P is putting a lot of emphasis on entrepreneurship. We have one of the most vibrant, we think, ecosystems for entrepreneurship. And here you can see examples on various startups that have been developing AI and scaling AI and moving on. Just for instance, the last one that Sense Thinks, that creates solutions for automated decision-making. And these are already provided the proof of concept and applications. One example is, for instance, in developing, and this has been done by Sense Thinks in partnership with UM6P, and for instance, in developing innovative digital diplomas for the future. It's digitalizing all the process to get rid, basically, of all the paper copies and certification and all that. That's it. I will keep it there for now. And thank you, Madam Chair. And then I think we can follow up later on the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rashid. I can testify to the presentation because I've also been fortunate enough to visit the university, and you are doing excellent work. I think one thing that's key from your presentation is that UM6P was born during the AI revolution. So I imagine that's a fortunate position that the university finds itself. I would now like Mrs. Rachel Chikore to make her contributions, and remember the question is, what is the current state of AI adoption at your university with reference to Harare Institute of Technology in Zimbabwe? I hope you are ready, Rachel.
How are you, Ms. Nomo?
We are fine, thank you very much. You are most welcome, thank you.
Indeed, I would also want to welcome everybody connected here. And just to start tackling my question, which needs to highlight the state of AI adoption at Harare Institute of Technology. Let me just start by commenting that the adoption rates of AI, artificial intelligence, at the Harare Institute of Technology is increasing steadily. But also I would start by mentioning that AI didn't come today. It's something that has always been there, which is backdated to the 1950s back there. But it's making noise now because the products that we're looking at the moment are the ones that have made impact in our communities. That's why it's now making a lot of noise, but it has always been there. So since back then, we've been always having the artificial intelligence course at Harare Institute of Technology being done by our students in the Information Science and Technology school, which is the Faculty of Information Science and Technology. But now, we have introduced artificial intelligence to everyone. We have responded to the technological advancements and to the industrial needs, and we have reviewed our curriculum to such an extent that out of all our 5 schools, allied health sciences, business management, industrial science, engineering, and also the School of Information Science, all our students now take artificial intelligence as a course, which means upon graduation, they would have an appreciation of artificial intelligence. We have realized that artificial intelligence knows no boundaries. It's applied across all the sectors. That's why we thought that if you produce a chemical engineering student, they still need to apply AI, because these days we are now talking about smart industries, smart health. So there is no way we can leave out AI. That's why we responded to that, and every student at HIT is now taking artificial intelligence as a course. Apart from that, we have also adopted artificial intelligence steadily as well. We are happy with the rate because as we speak, we have products that are already in the market that are implementing AI. I will just pick just a few. We have a fuel management system that has been implemented at HIT, which is being used nationally to manage our service stations. And also we have a city council chatbot, which is working as an assistant in all our city councils that have actually managed to adopt the system. You don't need the interruption, but will be able to assist you in the general questions or any other assistance that you might need. We also have the smart parking system, which we've already deployed in the market, which is already in use, and the nation is already benefiting from that one. So at the moment, I can say the way we have embraced artificial intelligence at HIT, we are happy with that rate. However, there's always need for us to raise more awareness when it comes to staff members and also even community awareness, so that the community can also appreciate AI in general. And this we have done. We have introduced the beginner program. I can give reference particularly to the School of Information Science and Technology, where we have the trainer programs. So this program, we actually introduced it so that we don't lag behind when it comes to technological advancements. We have experts in the field of AI, we have experts in the cybersecurity, we have experts in IoT. So everyone has a role to play in order to ensure that we are all at the same level. So those that are good in AI within the faculty are the ones that then spearhead the training programs. No one is left behind. So in general,
Mrs. Chikore, sometimes your voice goes off, so maybe speak to your microphone. Sometimes your voice is trailing off. Thank you.
all right, thank you very much. Is it better now?
No.
It's not either.
Yeah.
We can hear her. We can hear her anyway. It's clear for us.
Okay.
Yeah. We can hear her very clearly. That's no problem
Okay.
for us. Yeah.
Okay, you can proceed, but I stopped hearing you. But you can proceed, please.
It might be a local problem.
Okay, Ms. Nodumo, I was highlighting that at the moment we are actually offering artificial intelligence as a course to all our students. Not only artificial intelligence, but also we have big data and analytics as another course that is being taken by all the students, not only from the School of Information Science and Technology, but also from other faculties. We have three faculties. So the other four, in as much as they are not directly linked to the School of Information Science and Technology, so taking artificial intelligence course and also the big data and analytics course. I had also indicated that we have products that are already in the market that we are already using, which include but not limited to the fuel management system that is being used by the city councils and also the smart parking system. And I would also highlight that there is need to raise awareness, which we have already done. Everyone is roped in when it comes to AI, so that at least when we talk about inclusivity, we know that we are not leaving anyone behind. And there is also need for us to really look the already we have drafted an artificial intelligence policy. So the framework is already there, but we haven't started using it, but we have drafted something that looks into that. So the adoption of artificial intelligence at Harare Institute of Technology, I can safely say it is increasing steadily.
Okay, thank you very much, Rachel. I think it's exciting to hear about all the community engagements and also guiding the students to incorporate AI into their research. We will come back to the issues around policies and guidance and guidelines, but I noted that you had already touched on it. I would like to give the opportunity now to Professor Lamine Ba from Université Sheikh Anta Diop in Senegal. If you could also respond concerning the situation with your university, what is happening in terms of AI integration? Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Mrs. Numodu. First of all, I would like to thank the associations of African University to giving Sheikh Anta Diop University the opportunity to participate to this high-level panels and also to talk about what is going on as far AI is concerned.
And Prof, you can speak in French if you like.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I can move on English also
Okay.
if
no problem. Yeah, sure.
Donc je disais en anglais que je voulais d'abord remercier.
I just first thank the association, the AAU for this opportunity that has been given to me, to the University of Sheikh Anta Diop, to participate in this panel discussion and also to share what we are able to do and what we have done with regard to AI. within our university.
Just share my screen. I don't know if I can. Let me try to see if I can share my screen. Not alone, I guess.
Yes, you can reshare. I think it was coming and then it went away.
Ah,
Yeah. Just share again.
but I share. Je pense que je partage un tableau blanc. Je ne peux pas partager mon écran, je pense. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas quelqu'un qui partage?
Isn't there anyone to help me share my screen?
Okay, I can't see the screen. Something came, but it was looking white. So I think, yeah, if you can.
I was when I share a whiteboard.
Ah, okay.
I'm not
Sure.
sharing my screen.
Okay.
So having the impression that someone is sharing something. But I mean, anyway, I will move forward. Donc, il faut rappeler que l'université.
We should know that UCAD is the oldest university in Africa, in West Africa, and it is one of the highest universities in West Africa. Which has also known for the adaptation of technology, and especially in the area of science. When we are talking about IA, the AI, I would like to say that the university Cheikh Anta Diop has adopted for some years its strategy on digital and especially with emerging technologies. And the vision of the university was in 2007 to have an intelligent university, a smart university. So in our vision in 2024, UCAD should be a smart university and very resilient, using digital technology, especially with emerging technologies. For human resources, the university gotten the most process to follow its to pursue its vision by recruiting researchers, very well known ones within particular specialties, especially in the AI and emerging technologies. The university created new programs, especially where it's about emerging technologies, especially with regard to structure. And so it's first we had to create, the structure, the structure to be able to use such technologies, and that is why the university has been able to put up a strategy that enabled it to go ahead and update existing infrastructure to adapt them to the new tendencies. With regard to research and innovation, the university created 2 research groups with emphasis on AI and its applications. Especially, we can see a lot of projects have been undertaken currently which are innovative, that you use AI. For example, there's a that you have a project, AI project with the aim of helping in the setting up of health surveillance, especially in regard to genetic diseases, especially with animals. And this project, with the COVID experience we had, we realized that the emerging diseases, diseases which are going to appear with human activities, and which are generated, which come about human activities. So, for instance, in agronomy, we are also using AI to improve the understanding of these diseases. And then with the figures, data from WHO these days, we heard that cardiovascular diseases are on the rise, and in our countries, and one of the objectives of our projects is to help to prevent the high emergence of these diseases. So, talking about these projects, we can talk about the collaboration, sub-regional aspect, and collaboration. We have also, we are not only talking about national plans, but we are helping to help in resolving many of these problems, and as well as using AI to be able to resolve problems in Africa, and so we are also adopting laboratories which are also training leaders in AI, and those. So at UCAD, finally, we are trying to set up strategies and resources to be able to impact, nationally and on the whole of Africa in the area of AI. Our vision is to integrate AI within university, and also we are doing this with the participation of the lecturers of the university, and also the implementation of AI strategies in Senegal as a whole. Do I want to recall that Senegal has just published its AI strategy, which also make emphasis on the application of these strategies. And UCAD, through its lecturers and its alumni, has been participated largely in the setting up of these strategies. And then in the areas of education, health, agriculture, and animal husbandry. So, and also with AI, and as I have said, based on the emerging technologies like AI, for training, we have satisfied by the training that we've been able to do with regard to emerging technologies and AI, and also the contribution of the alumni of the university, and doing in the area of innovation, and then with the aim of providing solutions through technology, and especially the use of AI to help farmers in Senegal and also the rest of Africa, and to be able to optimize the agricultural yield. To end, these are the various things, the various strategies that we have put in place by UCAD for the adoption, for the efficient adoption of AI in its various aspects. It could be teaching, research, innovation, and at the level of the national level and at the continental level. And that is all that I had to say. I'm giving you back the floor for further discussions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Lamine. I think what struck me there is that Senegal has just published its AI strategy, which is, I think, very good, because those national strategies are then what guide the development of institutional strategies. I believe that Morocco is also in the process of publishing its AI strategy. Am I right, Dr. Siraj?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Yes, but I didn't hear anything about a national AI strategy from Rachel Chikore. I don't know if there's anything going on in that area, Rachel.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, as Zimbabwe, we are also working on something, because at the moment we have conferences that are actually gathering experts in artificial intelligence, experts from the industry, so that we start to look at the areas that we can include in the policy. So work has already begun. Even as we speak, we have conferences that have already been initiated where we are still gathering our information. Next week, we also have another conference on the 15th, which is also going to guide us on the AI roadmap. Is ready. So which is also happening in Zimbabwe regarding that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rachel. I think I want to just drill down a bit more to understand how universities are actually responding to generative artificial intelligence, such as ChatGTP. How is the learning changing? How are assessments adapting to generative ChatGTP? I think I didn't hear that from the three speakers. Maybe I'll start with Dr. Siraj.
Yes, thank you. It's a good question. I think as we speaking about artificial intelligence, of course, one of the first sectors that is affected by this revolution will be education, and it's already happening. So the education 4.0, the concept was developed basically to see how we could best make the best use of technology in education to promote the speed, the accuracy, the knowledge in teaching. And the idea also is to insert the industry 4.0 technologies, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, gamification, and all that into the learning process. So it becomes more comprehensive and more up to date. But now we're even going beyond that to talk about education 5.0, which means that we need to go beyond the technology itself, so that we use the learning to focus more on the social and the management processes So we can develop new skills in the future. The generation of ChatGPT, which is already being used now by students in routine mode. So we can develop new processes and methodologies to enhance the collaborative work, better interpersonal relations, empathy, tolerance of diversity within the learning process, to foster creativity, conflict management, and to have more fluid communication. In other words, we have to, when the internet, for instance, started, when was that? 30 years ago. Some of us have witnessed that. We had similar questions. How is internet going to affect education? And actually, if we do now a look back, we can see that the internet has tremendously transformed this whole field of education. And I think it's the same thing that's happening as we speak today with artificial intelligence. We just have to integrate that within our own processes of learning, so that we can raise the game and move into the principles of education 5.0. That's what I can say about it. Of course, this is more into the practice in the classrooms, and it's not just about the concepts. But I think, of course, it has, as every technology that comes our way, it will bring all these opportunities for raising, for transforming this field, but it has also some constraints and some challenges that we have to watch out. But this is a huge opportunity for transforming education and moving into education 5.0.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siraj. I think this has been the biggest concern of most academics, to say, what if they give students assignments and students turn in those assignments? Are those assignments done by students, or they've been done by generative AI? And I think as universities, we need to move fast to sort of adapt the way that we assess. Yeah, I would like to shift slightly. I've been expecting the participation of the University of Ghana, because we are hosted by University of Ghana, and it didn't make sense that we don't have their participation and their perspective. But I've got Mark Atamensa, who joined us on the call, and I would like him to shortly just tell us what is happening at the University of Ghana in terms of adapting and responding to the AI revolution. Thank you, Mark. If you could just do it in 5 minutes or so.
I guess that would be even too much.
Okay.
Thanks for the opportunity. The name is Mark Atamens. I'm a computer science lecturer here at University of Ghana, with the Department of Computer Science, as I clearly mentioned. Interestingly, one of my subjects is related to artificial intelligence in one form or the other, natural language processing, to be much more specific. Teaching students how to computationally make models from social media, among other things. Indeed, I'll begin my submission from your last statement. We, in the wake of generative AI, University of Ghana seem to have had an upper hand by leveraging Turnitin, which I believe a lot of institutions here probably have also signed up to. I think right from February, beyond checking plagiarism on student submissions, it has also gone the extra mile by indicating the extent to which generative AI might have influenced the student submissions. And so it provides that statistics as well, that in the percentage wise, so that you're able to determine whether the student has indeed completed the task himself or not. So in that sense, I think we are a bit absorbed. I can't say that we have not had any official party tabled. However, can you hear me?
Yes,
All right.
yes, I can, Mark. You can proceed.
Okay. So we have already begun the conversation. I recall back in June we had a seminar with our quality assurance unit to appreciate the impact of generative AI to academic work for both faculty and students, and of course the threats that lies ahead, which we have clearly underscored in the submissions. When it comes to artificial intelligence, a lot is happening here at University of Ghana. I'm personally engaged with other colleagues in other disciplines, like in climate change, Professor Gordon and a few others, partnering with Google to leverage large language models, specifically ChatGPT, to influence climate information.
D'influencer les informations relatives au climat.
More locally in our side, on our side.
C'est-à-dire au
Project is
niveau
currently ongoing.
local. En ce moment-ci, nous avons un
I think
projet en
there's a
cours.
slight problem with the French
Je
channel.
crois qu'il y a
French is coming through the English channel. If you could assist us, technical people, and make sure the French channel is not coming out of the English channel. Thank you.
I think it's okay now. Notumbo, it's okay now. I think we can
Thank
proceed.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So we have partnered in diverse ways. As I mentioned, we are working with Google presently on a project currently leveraging large language models to influence climate information. We have localized this, engaging experts. There's another AI project ongoing with Google, another branch of Google. We have dubbed it speech data, where we are moving across the various localities, picking local images and getting people to describe them in their own words in several forms. So we are gathering that data to also influence AI, the extent to which Google can best serve Africans. And of course, other publications are coming out of it. That's just to mention a few. When you go to our research areas like the Gucci and the likes, we have come to terms to appreciate how artificial intelligence can advance research, the model they are working with to speed up some analysis that would typically take hours and months and years, but all of that has been shrunk down thanks to AI. And so it's quite expansive, and University of Ghana is making great strides to make sure that we are not left behind. So that is just to provide a snapshot of how we are also leveraging AI in our small space here and the current state of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. I think that is excellent. Please stay on with us because the conversation is still going on. I think I wonder also how many other universities are using Turnitin, and it looks like Turnitin has adapted to be able to identify assignments that heavily lean towards ChatGTP and other generative AIs. I think the next question that I would like to pose is around how are the universities really engaging with industry to build an AI ecosystem for Africa? So I would like maybe to hear from Professor Lamine, followed by Mrs. Chikore, around industry engagement. Because one of the things that we've learned this week is that the industry is actually currently championing the development of AI And recently, governments such as United States and UK met recently to consider how they can invest into AI infrastructure, how they can invest into research, and how they can ensure that the supercomputers that are used for AI data collection and everything are actually accessible to researchers, are accessible to the public, so that we can determine the narrative that is presented by these machines. So I would like to hear from Professor Lamine Ba about industry engagement and Mrs. Chikore. Thank you.
Merci.
And if you could do it in 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes each. Thank you.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madame Dumo. That's an important thing when you're talking about IAR and national ecosystem and also the African level, the engagement of private enterprises. In Senegal has followed several strategies, especially as a university, we are trying to co-construct these projects in order to resolve real problems at the national level, and also at the head of that, we also working with regard to products that are to be commercialized, and we're also doing research. One of the things that we are used to involve industry, it's also the training programs. It's very important. One thing so important is to have talents of young people who have the skills to be able to work in this area, even at the international level, especially the development of IA applications. That is the challenge of Africa. So we have to leave our position of consumers of IA products and to go towards the creation of applications and AI solution. And that's the only way that we can have a training, quality training. And that's why we are constructing these programs with private enterprises in our countries, especially, and also with the industry. We are involving a lot, and also to use AI, especially with children and the young people, and to give them the taste and to sensitize them on the positive aspects and also the negative aspects of this technology. We have just talked about the impact of internet and its impact on education in general. So we need to adopt policies, especially in education and how to use it, because that has negative aspects as well. That's why we need to create awareness of students and to people, and for them to know how to use these tools. We are also in collaboration with companies, so and to help them and to support them in building of startups and the scaling up of startups, and also the policies that are there, we are putting in place with especially in the area of innovation. And also it's important, especially the involvement of private enterprises and their participation in the setting up even of strategies first, that we have to bring them on board to set up these strategies, especially bringing on board students also in creation of these strategies. And so we also have to involve others in the sub-region, because companies have a big role to play in this. That has been emphasized by the moderator. The champions, we need champions who have expertise in these emerging technologies, especially in Africa, and also to move ahead to the world stage. So in all these strategies, when they are put in place, can help involve and engage private companies in the development of the IA ecosystem, and at the national level and also at the sub-regional level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Lamine. Mrs. Chikore, just in 2 minutes, the issue of industry engagement.
All right, thank you very much. What we are doing is analysis of technology regarding industry engagement, which is got an industrial advisory board. So this industrial advisory board is the one
Can I
actually
ask
advises.
excuse me, Rachel, can I ask if the colleagues can hear you?
No, I'm having trouble hearing her clearly.
Yes, there's some noise in your channel.
That's me too.
Yeah, maybe you can check it out.
Okay.
I'll come back to you, because there's some noise in your channel. So I'll come back to you. Okay, can I ask the same question to Dr. Seraj and Mark Mensa, if they could drill down to industry engagement, and maybe also touch on what you are doing to promote AI literacy among your academic staff. Is there anything that you are doing to deal with AI literacy? Do they know where to go if they want to build their capacity in AI literacy? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
the
can hear you.
example I mentioned earlier on engaging the industry, in our case at University Mohammed VI Polytechnic, because from the beginning, as I mentioned in 2018, the initiative was started with UNESCO and OCP, which is a leader in fertilizer industry in the continent. So that has actually, from the beginning, got the lens of public-private partnership, most of these initiatives. And after the creation of the Moroccan Centers for Artificial Intelligence in Rabat, one of the first laboratories that was initiated is the ASMAIA, it's multi-agent systems and artificial intelligence, which is the result of a collaboration between OCP and the center. And the goal, of course, is to contribute to making AI research and development serve the digital transformation of the industry, of OCP industrial processes. So that's the process itself was started, initiated in the public-private. The second aspect, which is important also, as I mentioned earlier, is the scaling of the startups. Many of the startups that have moved into the use of AI across sectors are hosted, are incubated at the university, and of course the process of incubation and acceleration of some of those industries will lead, as I showed, for instance, the examples from agriculture, agri-edge, or health with AgriSense and other startups. Now, in response to your second question about capacity building and staff training and all that, we are also engaging in a big way through executive education, for instance. So we have the executive master program for professionals, especially on the governance and the applications of AI, in partnership with the Africa Business School and the UNESCO Priority Africa programs, because we think this is very important to keep both technology and policy and ethics moving hand in hand. You cannot just focus on one aspect. So we put a lot of emphasis on the policy and the governance dimension. We also have a doctoral training program where the different centers at the university offer structured doctoral programs in advanced and diverse AI applications, ranging from embedded AI to creative AI, and we are, fostering this doctoral program with an African vocation as well. So this is also an open invitation to potential students interested in further developing their studies on AI, because this is our university is putting a lot of emphasis on training across sectors, as I mentioned. And in addition to the doctoral, we also have masters, as I said, the different masters programs, training, and most of the training actually on AI goes in the labs. Our motto at UM6P, as you may know, is learning by doing. So as we develop and working on all the algorithms and all the technologies and deep learning and all that, we also put a lot of emphasis on the applications, and as I mentioned, on the policy and governance dimension. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siraj. Over to you, Mark. Please also touch on how have your digital literacy programs been upgraded to include AI literacy, if at all? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I want to begin from the latter bit of my counterpart's presentation in terms of capacity building. In my earlier submission, I indicated that just barely in June, there was a webinar on ChatGPT, and this was organized with the interest of the faculty at heart, so that we will collectively be abreast with what was happening, how we could take advantage of it, and how we could also buy into it. From time to time, such events are being organized at the University of Ghana. On the front of external, more capacity building, we have transcended in incorporating AI in our curriculum. As I indicated, I am facilitating one such topic, and we are really practically oriented, making sure that our students get the skill set and can also contribute meaningfully to the body of science, especially when it comes to AI, and of course, make them well equipped for the industry when they graduate. And beyond that, we have been exposing them to competitive engagements like challenges, Zindi African Challenge. Our students, I think they did well in about 2 editions ago, a couple of years ago. I think we won the second position. It was the first of its kind, and it is catching on. Over time, we are in the process of running more programs tailored in the direction of AI in computer science department as we speak, which hopefully from 2024-2025 academic year should have gotten the approval for admissions to commence in those specific graduate programs. Presently, a research student or a graduate student can leverage the skills they have acquired over a period to complete their project, dissertation, or thesis in that area. Faculty at the department level have been equipped through other trainings and partnerships with Data Camp, IBM, and Oracle, who all have come to terms with AI influencing the digital divide at the moment. And so we have had the privilege to, leverage their resources, their content to expose both faculty and students. And so in that sense, we are trying our best to, make AI come to stay and embrace it. And beyond that, faculty like myself are engaging with colleagues in other disciplines to collaborate in research and influencing those aspects where AI forms key to advance the course of what we are doing. So in the capacity building bit, I think we are not doing bad. And when it comes to the industry affiliations, I think I also made that submission. I made mention of the likes of Google. I've mentioned IBM, Oracle, and the likes. So it's not just extending resources for us to build out the capacity of faculty and students, but also extending research grants to us to be a part of what is going on to contribute meaningfully in such space. We are hoping that we can build as much capacity as possible to also influence the industries that are in our local society, so that we can advance collectively as a whole. Besides, we are here in Ghana, so as we support the cause of Google in our interest, we also support the localized industries. But I mean, our doors are never closed. We are always ready to welcome them. But at the moment, we are more focused on enhancing building the capacity of faculty and students, who in turn, when they get out there, can do greater exploits. So I guess this will be my submission on these few points. Thank you.
Yes, excellent, Mark. Thank you so much. I think I would like to give each of our speakers a last word, or maybe we go into questions and answers first. We'll have about 20 minutes or so. If the audience has any questions, please raise your hands. I'll take the first 3 questions, then I'll ask the speakers to respond. So the floor is open. I see Dr. Idrisu. Professor Idrisu has his hand up. If anyone else, Dr. Adesina, can I have a third person? Okay, maybe the third person will come. In the meantime, please check the chat. There's a poll that we are doing just to understand whether your institutions have started developing any institutional policies and guidelines specifically around generative AI. May I give you the floor, Professor Idrisu, followed by Professor Adesina. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam, for the opportunity. And then thank you very much to Professor Oluwili, the Director General of Association of African Universities for organizing this program. I would like to ask Mr. Mark Mensah whether University of Ghana, do we have a policy framework in place to guide the use of the artificial intelligence by our students? I am asking that question because sometimes we at the highest level of education are required to train our students how to think and how to innovate so that we can improve the conditions of Africa as a continent. AI, if our students get used to it now, any assignment you give them, they can go and use ChatGPT to be able to get the answers for you, the lecturer. Somebody suggested turn it in as a software, but as an experienced supervisor and lecturer, anytime our students submit work to me, even if the work is coming from ChatGPT, Turnitin is not able to detect that. So what other technical softwares are in place that can support we, the lecturers in academia, to be able to leverage that to checkmate our students, so that when they make submission in terms of assignment, in terms of term papers, in terms of thesis and dissertations, we'll be able to know that this particular one is coming directly from the AI, and therefore go back and do this and that. So that is the first question. And the second question goes to Professor Siraj. I would like to find out whether you know of funding sources for higher education that can support us build our capacity, and then to be able to leverage the AI and then use it to support improve the quality of higher education in Africa. I'm a lecturer at the University for Development Studies, Ghana. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Can I ask Professor Adesina to have the floor? I don't know, Professor Abiodun Adesina, can you?
I'm really, I really
proceed.
appreciate the presenters. I've gained sumptuous idea from how we can integrate AI into our teaching and learning, especially in tertiary institution. It's a wonderful experience being in the house. My question is, since one of the presenters identified that AI is not something new, like the construct of computer-assisted instruction, gamification, learning management system, augmented reality, virtual reality, simulations, they are very embedded in the idea of AI. Can we get a distinction of what make AI different from especially learning management system? Because we are very familiar with so many learning management systems. Institutions build their own different learning management system. Is there a demarcation between artificial intelligence and learning management system? I want us to clarify that construct. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Adesina. I will allow Dr. Bethel and then Dr. Hamzat. Then we will go to answer those questions. Please, the floor is yours, Bethel, followed by Aziz.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the session. So I first have a comment, not necessarily a question, then also a question at the end. So my first comment is, I want to talk about the frame of mind upon which the conversation in AI goes on. I have observed on so many discussions is, I would suggest that we do not start the conversation with AI from a lens of threat or from a lens of resistant threat, because when we do that, it sets up our minds subconsciously to begin to see it as a threat. It's not a threat, or rather, I would say it has challenges. That's on one side. Then on the other side is, I think it is also the mindset of threat that brings about the conversation on how do we track down, how do we clamp down. My point is, even with the generative AI tools like ChatGPT, it's going to keep getting better. So my suggestion or my submission is African HEIs and academia on the continent should begin to consider, how do we learn alongside with AI? How do we give questions or assess students, even when they come with their AI capabilities? How do we still assess them? What frame should we use in assessing them to dictate their own capacity within the ecosystem of AI? I think this should be the direction, because AI is not going out. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bethel. Last question for this round from Dr. Aziz Hamzat.
Okay, thank you. So I was not able to unmute myself.
Okay.
So yes, so my concern first is that I know there is a lot of discussion about students' use of AI and also researchers using AI in writing article or in their publication. But there is not much discussion about professors using AI to create teaching materials. Because, I mean, if a professor is using AI to create teaching materials, what would you expect students to also give back? Because they can find what you are giving online as well. So what policy or how can we, together as Africans, come up with policy, or how can we guide our professors in using AI, but at the same time staying innovative in such a way that students can also be innovative as their responses as well? So this is my question and concern. Thank you.
I think that's a good one. Let me just summarize what I heard so that my panelists can respond as they see fit. The first question was specific to the University of Ghana. So Mark take that on the policy framework at UG, University of Ghana. There was then a question around, besides Turnitin, are there other tools that can be used to identify whether students have used a generative AI? The person who asked this question didn't seem to believe in the usability of Turnitin. Then in the Q&A on this platform, someone asked about AI for chemical engineering. Maybe they were looking for some case studies. Dr. Siraj, a question was directed at you on funding sources. I don't know why, but maybe you will attempt to respond to that. There was also a question on how AI is different from a learning management system. So maybe one of our panelists can help with that. Then Bethel, I think it was a comment to say, can we change the lens of the discussions or the framework so we don't see AI as a threat? And then the last week, professors are also in the same situation. They are also going to ChatGPT to create teaching and learning materials. They've stopped being innovative. What are we saying about the professors? So I'll just ask the panelists, starting with the Mark, followed by Dr. Siraj, followed by Professor Lamine Ba, and then Rachel Chikore, if they could just speak to what they had in terms of the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so to begin with the University of Ghana bit, the policy framework is still being drafted. The committees have been set onto the ascendancy of these large language models at the early part of this year. I think the conversation was expecting AI to probably surface in a couple of decades' time, but it looks like it has already caught up with us here. So I know that committee is currently working, and hopefully before the end of this year, in just a couple of weeks from now, we should hear from them, and that policy draft should be public on that front. I think he also asked me about alternative to Turnitin. Indeed, my field and of course my experience in AI, I can confirm that Turnitin to an extent, regardless their confidence level of detecting ChatGPT submitted works, to some extent is not comparable to Originality AI, which is an alternative. As we may know, none of these platforms comes for free. So ChatGPT is an institutional subscription, but Originality AI, you can have your own personal subscription. They seem to have a higher accuracy of detection as compared to Turnitin. What Turnitin may not detect, there is 100% likelihood that Originality AI, for example, can detect that this work is plagiarized. But hey, like I said, Beto made that submission. It has come to stay. So we just have to embrace it. But that is just to give you other options. I think Idrisu asked that question. And if you would indulge me, I would want to try and respond a bit so on the LMS and the AI bit. Both tools are completely different in several ways, right? When it comes to purpose and functionality, the LMS is a software application designed for administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, anything that has to do with educational courses or training programs. AI is a complete different environment. It encompasses a broad range of technologies, basically allowing machines to learn from experience, adjust to new inputs. The good news is that we can integrate AI into learning management systems, and that is possible. So if you are using some of these open source learning management systems like what we use, University of Ghana, Sakai, Moodle in some institutions, there are several plugins that can help you leverage AI and integrate them in one form or the other. I think these are my submissions on the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Excellent. Over to you, Dr. Siraj, then Professor Lamine and Rachel. Thank you.
All right. Well, the question about funding, as you said, why do we always get this question? Maybe we're perceived as sort of funding, but anyway, what I can say about that, there is no single response to that. It depends very much on on the goals and the setting. If it's for instance, the doctoral programs, as I mentioned, UM6P is leading a program called Excellence in Africa, together with EPFL, Polytechnique de Lausanne in Switzerland. The aim here is to have about 100 PhDs of excellence level across Africa and across disciplines. That program is advertised every year, and it has already gone like 3 years, I believe. And as I say, the objective is clear there. It's really shooting for the best. We have another the PhD program that's getting launched, focused on agriculture. This is with CGIAR institutions and World Bank. Of course, we are here at the AU, so AU is managing the ACE Impact for Africa. I think that's also a very important resource in connecting with those centers across the continent. And of course, for research, most of the funding, I think, comes from bilateral. We have several donors. I don't want to get there. Now, if you allow me, please, I want to comment very quickly on the policy dialogue that we've been talking about for AI. And I want to refer you again to the Mingre Declaration. That was the outcome from the forum with UNESCO. It is more than 5-6 years old now, but I think it's still very relevant. While we think, and I agree very much with what has been said in the comments from the participant from Nigeria, where he said we should not focus on the threats, but look at the challenges and also look at the opportunities. I think, if I might, AI today offers us a myriad of solutions to transform the way we do business across the continent. And I think we have to look at it from this point of view. And the policy side, we need to, and that's part of the declaration, we need to encourage the use of AI as means to sustainable management of Africa's natural resources and the reduction of risks related to disasters, climate change, and environmental degradation. We need to develop AI strategies that respond to the needs of all social groups. And I mentioned the example, for instance, on gender, to make sure that we recognize the role of African women in the development and adoption of specific strategies that strengthen the active participation of women as creators, producers, and users of AI. I think this is extremely relevant to our debate today. We need to look forward and see at all these opportunities. And we need to promote an appropriate dialogue with different social actors here, because it doesn't have to stay within the universities. This has to go also with scientific communities and the private sector, as we talked about industry, and to develop an ethical framework that ensures an adequate protection of autonomy. Now, just a comment very quickly on a question that was raised by Aziz, and how do we deal with all these new developments now to professors. I think as mentioned in the Principles of Education 5.0, we have to look at this again as an opportunity. We have ChatGPT or AI, all the technologies that are coming out. There will be more than ChatGPT pretty soon as we speak. We have to take that as a given and try to integrate that in our way of teaching, to focus more on what the machines cannot do, the human dimension. And I think if we're able to do that, we can upgrade our whole curricula and education programs, not to focus only on content which is provided by data mining, but focus more on what the machines cannot do. And I think that's a very important opportunity with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seraj. Professor Lamine Ba, and then Mrs. Chikor.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madam. I just want to get back to this question, very important question. For me, we should be talking about opportunities of AI that AI gives us. It's very important for the various priority sectors of the continents, of our countries. I think that AI, it is a formidable tool for Africa to push us towards the development of our countries and to resolve issues of equity and of inequity. As we have talked a short while ago about the gaps that are there within the digital arena, and also AI. That's why AI can be used to be able to propagate digital training, especially in Africa, in our countries. And then to also to the comment of our Nigerian colleague, for me, I agree that we should concentrate on the challenges and opportunities for education, for us lecturers to accept that AI can be an integral part of our practices. We should try to use it to enable our students to have skills, to acquire skills. For students can have skills in the use of AI, and or use it as something of good to us. So I think we have also there's recommendations that have been made, but the methodology that UNESCO has proposed for the preparation of, but that must go through certain stages for with regard to AI. There are several criteria to use to evaluate the preparation towards AI, and we should also be able to see what we don't have for the use of AI in order to be up to our responsibilities. In Senegal, we have various dimensions of that, but and that must be linked to the objectives of sustainable development, and that we have to make studies on preparedness and also try to see how to fill the gaps in order for AI to become the gold for Africa, and that will not be rather a curse for us. Madam, thank you very much, and I give you back the floor.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Lamine Ba. Excellent feedback. Mrs. Rachel Chikore, I think your comments, yeah, based on.
Thank you very much, Madam. Hopefully the sound is now better.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so I'll start maybe by responding to the question that you had raised before, which was to do with the use of Turnitin in universities, because I did not get a chance to respond regarding Harare Institute of Technology. We are using Turnitin, and we have also realized, and we are glad that it has been also upgraded so that it can pick those assignments that have been done through ChatGPT. So at least it's a welcome move that has been done to improve that application and that software. But however, as an institution, we have also discouraged the use of assignments for assessment. In as much as assignments are good because they also allow our students to do independent research, but we have also encouraged lecturers to use other assessment tools that are direct, that will enable thinking that is real time. So that's what we have adopted at the moment, which also will go a long way. So we haven't scratched the assignments totally, but we have also tried to reduce them so that we get quality results. So I'll move on to the other question. I know the other questions were directly asked to other panelists. So I will take the general questions and start with the one that was asking about the learning management, the difference between a learning management system and artificial intelligence. That one was addressed a little bit, but let me also highlight that artificial intelligence is very broad. Whilst a learning management system is just a software that is being used to manage student information or processes so that we produce a quality student. But when it comes to AI now, it involves a lot. AI involves fuzzy logic, it involves machine learning, it involves deep learning, it involves neural networks, it also involves computer vision. So those two are very different, but I would like to adopt the submission that was made by my counterpart from Ghana, who indicated that we can then harness artificial intelligence in all the processes that we will be doing at a university, including quality management. This can include even stakeholder management, the way we assess our students in terms of mentorship. We can actually adopt models that can predict if a student is doing well. For example, would be having a data set. So if we feed our data set into that particular model, it will be able to predict if a student is highly likely to be a mentorship case, so that mentorship interventions can be done quickly. So it means we can actually apply artificial intelligence in our daily lives, in everything that we do, for the benefit of all institutions and also for the benefit of Africa as a whole. And also there was a question that was raised in terms of which other applications that we have that can check. We have other tools that we can use. You can actually make use of AI test classifier. It can actually manage to pick if an assignment was done by using ChatGPT. There is also past AI, which can be used. And also I've already mentioned Turnitin, which we are already using as an institution. So basically, to address the questions that have been raised, those are the general ones that I've touched.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Rachel. I think the feedback was on point. I have 3 hands up, but we just have 13 minutes to go. So maybe what I'll do, I'll ask the people to speak, but I don't promise that we will respond to the question. Dr. George Ogola, if you could speak, followed by Dr. Timothy, and then last, Abigail Bayenla. I think that's all we can do because we are now time-bound. So if you could ask your questions briefly, but we don't promise to engage in depth.
Okay, thank you very much. Mine's more a comment than a question, really. I think we need to try and keep our sort of eyes on the ball. We are focusing so much on technology, and I think what we need to be focusing on really is to instill a culture of intellectual integrity, you know, in our universities. I think that's primary, because as much as, you know, we can invest on AI detection tools, it's also the case that there are tools that are being developed to avoid that very detection. You know, you take an essay, for example, you run it on Grammarly, and then you put it back on an AI detection tool. It's not going to detect that, you know, the work was generated by AI. So this focus on technology, I think, is important. But as well, we need to go back to the basics, you know, focus on developing that culture of intellectual integrity. You know, why are we in a university in the first place? You know, the second point relates to, is more a challenge. You know, the AI infrastructure, you know, both technical and policy infrastructure at the international level. You know, that technical and policy landscape is largely being shaped by, you know, Western nations. There is sort of this continuous sort of systematic marginalization of the developing world, and particularly sort of Africa. You know, if you look at the recent sort of AI safety summit that was held in London, there were barely anybody from Africa, you know, given a space to speak. The AI World Summit, you know, you look at the key speakers, none of them are from Africa. So we've got to, you know, think about a conversation around being part of this broader conversation around policy, around regulation, and very much a part of the development of that infrastructure. But this is the last point. Really, is a challenge to African universities. You know, I think universities should be spaces for innovation. You know. What generative AI tools are we actually thinking of developing? You know, most of these generative AI tools that are currently in place, you know, the data sets are mainly from the West. The hallucinations that emerge when you use an AI tool is precisely because of the limited data, you know, that they engage from the South. So I would hope that, you know, African universities should also take this as a challenge. You know, develop your own data set, develop your own generative AI tools, rather than simply appropriating, you know, tools that are trained, you know, on Western data sets that may not, in fact, you know, appropriately, perhaps, you know, take into account, you know, the contextual differences between the global South and North. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ogola. Over to you, Timothy.
Okay, thank you so much. Timothy Balakutu is my name at the Center for Peace and Security Research, University of Professional Studies, Accra. Very informative and insightful presentations. Mine are just a couple comments, and you know, this relates to what the last questioner just said, and other people really, actually, Chikoro also touched on that. Among the other things, what maybe, I mean, we probably need to be considering the cost, intelligence, risk, and other components of, you know, artificial intelligence from outside, you know, because of course, we need to be thinking more seriously about domestic or internal capacity building, and so of course all developing homegrown AI. I haven't heard a lot of that, so I just wanted to make that comment. The other one also is that I think, of course, and understandably, we've talked a lot about AI being exploited by students who have a tendency to cheat, and maybe even professors who have a tendency to be lazy. Rightly so, and of course, understandably, that we are, it is a university forum, but of course, like some have pointed out, and indeed the first speaker showed various ways in which artificial intelligence is beneficial to the larger development of our continent. So we shouldn't be so focused on the cheating and laziness aspect of, artificial intelligence. The last comment also, of course, also a question, but it doesn't need to be addressed. Maybe think about it. Professor Dlamini, that is actually to you and AAU. If there are any plans somehow to facilitate training for university lecturers on the continent on artificial intelligence, whether at the AAU level or in collaboration with individual universities. And again, even further on, that if there are plans to somehow move the development and use of AI lower, in the educational realm, because of course, if we wait to get into universities before we start learning AI, that might be a little late in the game. So, these are just a few comments, maybe one question for AAU to think about. And thank you all. Thank you for a very insightful discussion.
Thank you very much, Doc. That's appreciated. The last question will come from Abigail Bayenla, and then we will close. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. Thank you very much, Ms. Nodomo, for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to commend the Association of African Universities for their hard work, commitment, and efforts in enhancing the quality and relevance of higher education in Africa. Their efforts in organizing these educational forums and programs cannot be overlooked. And so I say kudos to the AAU team. My name is Abigail, a communications analyst from Resource for Development. And we are currently collaborating with AAU and PSB Academy in Singapore in organizing some of these educational programs. I must say it's a coincidence that AAU is focusing on AI in the African universities day. And I'm glad that we have a common interest. And I'm sure that we've all had a lot of insights from the sessions from Monday and of course up to today. However, we still have more insights for you, and so
Hope I'm not the one who is losing it.
Yeah. Abigail, I think your connection has gone bad. Okay.
all of us to join us in organizing for.
Okay. So, colleagues, thank you very much for this session. There's a poll that we were running. We're just asking a question: has your institution begun developing AI-related policies or guidelines for generative AI usage? And I think 10 people said yes, 6 said no, and 7 said they were not sure. If you would still like to have your voice in that poll, I have put the link in the chat. So if you could just let us know. But otherwise, on behalf of the Secretary General, I would like to thank our speakers. I think we had excellent speakers who represented North Africa, West Africa Anglophone, West Africa Francophone, and Southern Africa. So I believe we now have a good idea of what is happening in our universities. I liked the suggestion about AAU taking the mantle and actually running artificial intelligence training programs. I think that will be possible for the AAU to take that mantle. And also the excellent feedback, particularly around what are we doing as universities, what do we stand for, issues around intellectual integrity. Let's not fear AI, let's learn, let's adapt, let's understand the challenges. Most of all, let's engage so that we can learn. Let's see how to develop an African AI ecosystem so that we stop being consumers, but we become partakers of the development of the AI for the African ecosystem. So thank you very much. It's 12 on the dot, and we will now end this session. Please join us again tomorrow, same time. We will be at a member university here in Accra, a very innovative university called Academic City University College. So if you want to know what will be going on there, join us again at 10 a.m. GMT, I believe. Thank you very much. Have a good day.